Welcome back to the Coliseum here in St. Petersburg, Florida, as we get set for our first bout of the evening here. As we go ahead and take a look at our tale of the tape, brought to you by Corona. Corona invites you to find your beach. As you see, David Grayton is 3 years older, but Miguel Cruz has the significant height and the reach advantage. A matchup here in the welterweight division. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Coliseum here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Live on FS1, this is Premier Boxing Champions. The action begins with 10 rounds in the welterweight division. The three judges ringside are Jed O'Connor, Alexander Levin, and Michael Ross. And the referee in charge, when the bell sounds, Sam Burgos. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He comes in wearing the black with the red. His record stands at 15 wins, 11 of those coming by way of knockout against one loss and one bout even. Fighting out of Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, here is David "Day Grayton. And across the ring, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. He comes in wearing the white with the red and the blue. As a professional, he's undefeated, 16 wins, 11 of those coming by way of knockouts. Fighting out of Orlando, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Miguel Cruz. It is our first fight of the night. Miguel Cruz, who is undefeated, trying to elevate his record to 17-0, battling David Grayton. There you see David Grayton from Washington, D.C. Trains under the guidance of George Peterson, who has been in the corner of Paul Williams, Thomas Williams, and Emmanuel Leem, just to name a few. Ray Flores, Sergio Mora, Jordan Hardy here, as we are just 2 days away from Thanksgiving, and we are thankful you are here watching tonight's event here with PBC on FS1. You see Cruz starting off with the jab, the southpaw, David Grayton.
This is going to be a good matchup between two tall welterweights. Very experienced. Grayton, 2010 National Golden Gloves champion. The southpaw here. Miguel Cruz, undefeated. Good record. Should be a good matchup.
And for Miguel Cruz, this is the 5th straight southpaw that he has fought, and that is something that is pretty foreign, is to be able to fight 5 southpaws in a row, especially here in a career where you've only had 16 fights.
I've never heard of that, especially for a young prospect. I mean, a boxer could go their entire career only fighting 1 or 2 southpaws. I know I have. But for him to only have 16 fights and have 4 southpaws in a row is a testament to how much confidence they have in this young man.
Well, David Grayton looking to make a statement, as he had a technical draw against Kermit Cintron, the former world champion. He felt that Cintron was looking for a way out, and they said in his mind, he told us yesterday in the fighter meetings, that the judges saved Cintron's career, but now he's focused even more so and wants to really hand Miguel Cruz the first defeat in his professional career.
Nice left hand there by Grayton. Right now in these tenuous first rounds, both fighters are very experienced. They don't really want to give the other a chance to hit him with anything or counter him with anything. So they just want to touch him, see what the other guy has, feint, touch him in the body until the other guy reacts.
You see with Miguel Cruz across on the belt line, you see Tatita. That is a tribute to his mother, who is still in Puerto Rico dealing with the effects of the hurricane. And we will have more on that story, but she still does not have electricity. Does his mother down in Puerto Rico. Thoughts and prayers with everyone that have been affected by the natural disasters over the past few months. And Grayton stepping inside, straight left, down the middle.
Let him go, gentlemen. Work it out. Let him go. Stop. Let him
Cruz
go.
did a good job of smothering Grayton there. He didn't want him to get started with his back against the ropes there. It was a smart move on the young Miguel Cruz there.
Just 27 years of age, both of them with stellar amateur careers. Cruz very proud to have Puerto Rican heritage, wants to really go ahead and capture a world title, especially with Puerto Rico not being so successful when it comes to being world champions and showcasing world champions. Final 10 seconds of the first.
Puerto Ricans are born fighters. Born fighters.
And that's the end of the first. David Grayton and Miguel Cruz will come back with more of PBC on FS1 here from St. Petersburg. Welcome back to PBC on FS1. There you see John David Jackson in the corner, Miguel Cruz along with O'Neal Watson. Watson actually has trained Cruz during the duration of his career, but because he's gotten sick, it has been John David Jackson who helps to train Cruz when O'Neal Watson isn't feeling well. But Cruz was adamant telling us that O'Neal Watson is his main trainer, but John David Jackson is there just in case Watson is having some bad days.
It's a great trainer to have in your corner in Jackson. Another two-time, two-division world champion.
And Miguel Cruz has aspirations of getting to that next level and fighting the top 10 next year. But first, he's got to get past David Grayton here tonight. And Grayton is no slouch whatsoever. Last year, he handed Kareem Martin the first defeat of his professional career. We saw Martin last week, or a couple of days ago, if I stand corrected, against Ryan Carl. That was on Friday night in Flint, Michigan. And Sam Burgos,
pay attention. You listen up. You understand? Keep it clean. Let's go.
Wants things to stay clean inside the ring.
It's very difficult for a southpaw and an orthodox fighter to keep things clean because they're always going to cross feet. It's going to be a difficult job for the referee to actually keep it clean. It's not just the fighter.
Grayton looking to smother Miguel Cruz, and Cruz
clean,
looking to send a straight right hand over the top.
Box it out. Let him go.
And Sam Burgos is letting them go, much to his credit.
Stop. Step back. Step back.
As he should. I haven't seen too many dirty tricks or anything like that. It's just Grayton moving in, maybe lunging in, and his head might be able to hit Cruz there in an accidental headbutt, but let's not hope that we see something like that. But right now, it's pretty clean.
Midway point of
Good double
the second.
right. Good double right hand there by Cruz. Grayton didn't catch that. He comes back with a straight left hand of his own.
And Cruz feels that he has a style. He was successful in the amateurs, but more so, and now Grayton has him hurt a little bit. They're both exchanging hooks in abundance by both fighters.
I was really looking forward to this fight, not only because they had extensive amateur careers, but because they just had it. They had that special thing, that it factor. Right now, what started all that was a sneaky left hand that Grayton caught Cruz with, and that started up the combinations. He felt that.
And Miguel Cruz willing to oblige as he goes ahead. And he threw hooks to retaliate. But David Grayton, you know, he just goes in and loves to mix it up on the inside.
Come on, guys, you get out of there. Watch the head, Cruz. Watch
Cruz
the head,
is coming off a couple of tough fights. I mean, that fight with Sammy Figueroa was something special. I mean, he had to come back from a point deficit. He showed grit going down the stretch. He looked really good in that fight. I think it was a building experience and showed character.
And for David Grayton, his father,
come on.
David Grayton the fourth, was a southpaw lightweight in the 80s. And when it comes to amateur careers as Grayton, he lost to Errol Spence, but he also defeated Errol Spence as well in 2010 in the National Golden Gloves.
Good action here, straight inside fighting. Nice left hand there by Cruz. Both of them getting some good clean shots in. Grayton, the body shots. Cruz repeats, comes back with a body shot of his own. Good action here.
Things have intensified between Cruz and Grayton. You're watching PBC on FS1, coming back with round number 3 in only moments. Welcome back to PBC on FS1. For more on Miguel Cruz, here's the third member of our broadcast team, Jordan Hardy.
Ray, thank you. Miguel Cruz has a lot of his family back in Puerto Rico, including his mother, Maria, that will not be able to watch the fight tonight because their power is still out from Hurricane Maria. I ran into him when he arrived tonight at the venue, and he said just to get a hold of his mom before the fight, he has to call his uncle who works at a hospital that has power. He's hoping somehow she'll be able to stream it, but as you can see, her nickname Tatita is on his trunks, and no matter what, he said he is still going to put on a show for his mom. Ray?
Thank you very much, Jordan. And when it came to what motivates him more so than anything aside from being a world champion, Cruz told us that he wants to buy his mom a house, and he feels he's very close to doing that. So Cruz needs to be able to get past David Grayton here in St. Petersburg, but Grayton is a very difficult challenge as they are both mixing it up, and Sam Burgos will separate them. Grayton using his jab, And we'll see which fighter is going to use his jab even more, because that seems to be, they both have tasted each other's power, but who is going to focus more on the fundamentals in this fight?
I think a jab's going to control the action there. Earlier in the round, Grayton landed a power jab. It wasn't just a flicking jab to get his distance. It was a nice power jab that jolted Cruz there. So he got his attention. Cruz is going to have to be careful with that power jab.
And Grayton is a heck of an athlete. He played linebacker in the Washington, D.C. area alongside Navarro Bowman. He's a small linebacker, and he started boxing relatively late at 18 and has been successful since turning pro some 5 years ago.
If you started boxing at 18 years old and you were able to beat a beast like Errol Spence Jr., that just shows how good you are as a fighter and a boxer.
And Miguel Cruz looking for those openings, but Grayton is a little more active here.
There's that power jab again. Those are strong jabs. They catch your opponent like stiff right hand sometimes, but since he's a southpaw, it's a straight left hand. The power jabs can affect you.
Let's go, gentlemen.
Right there, I think it's been the difference between both of them. They both have gotten good body shots in, controlled the tempo of the fight. Good right hand there by Cruz coming back.
And Cruz stuns Grayton. Grayton holding on there.
And he needed that because Grayton was starting to get too many punches in there, and the judges see that, and it starts to flow. The rounds, good shots there by Cruz.
A sharp right hand that connected, and Grayton tying up again as he wrestles Cruz against the ropes.
You don't want a guy like Grayton taking the lead or taking command. You don't want the judges to see anything else. This is a competitive fight. Cruz is doing the right thing to start off and come back strong.
Sweeping right cross by Cruz moments ago. Grayton answered back with a straight left and a left hook there. That seemed to buckle Grayton. Grayton is in deep trouble. And now they wrestle each other to the canvas. Oh my goodness. A takedown.
Grayton did a veteran move there by holding him and tackling him down to the ground. That's a Bernard Hopkins right there. He's hurt.
And a cut now on the right cheek of Cruz, and Cruz teeing off on David Grayton here in the third. It is the end of the third round. Grayton has got some shaky legs as we conclude the third. Welcome back to PBC on FS1. In the corner, you know that John David Jackson and Renee Watson have to be very happy with what they've seen out of Miguel Cruz. Cruz had David Grayton hurt. They both tied up and went to the canvas. Grayton avoiding the knockdown, as you said. Very astute and smart on his behalf.
Absolutely, it was a veteran move. When you're hurt like that, you can't control nothing. You can't control your body. So the first thing you're going to do is either you're going to get knocked out, or you got to prevent that by doing something like tackling your opponent.
A couple of hooks as they're going to the body. Cruz, his confidence is growing here in the fight. And it was interesting, as Cruz said, a left hook as Grayton came on the inside. He said he really admired you, Sergio, when he saw that you were here to commentate his fight. You saw his eyes light up. He was asking you about very impressive victories, the one over the late great Vernon Forrest, may he rest in peace, and also some very memorable moments in your career, and says he really tries to model some of his style off of you as well.
It was definitely something where I felt good because he knew a lot about my boxing past, not only me beating Vernon Forrest, a great champion, winning the WBC world title, but winning a reality show, buying my mama a house, all things that he wants to do in the future. And it felt good for a young man like that to look up to me, and I give him a good piece of advice as well.
And with Miguel Cruz, he spent some time training with who's going to be in the main event, Devin Alexander. They said that they sparred close to 36 to 40 rounds. And he said that was a learning experience where he picked up quite a bit of tricks from the former two-division world champion. Sweeping right hook that missed by Cruz. But if you are David Grayton, he's got to be able to make adjustments now because Cruz is starting to look like the fresher fighter and seemed to hurt Grayton in the third.
Grayton started this round as he should, as a guy that wants to win. I think he's winning this round so far. Cruz is doing the smart thing by not obliging him, not mixing up with Grayton because he's the hurt fighter. And hurt fighters can be dangerous fighters. You got to watch out for these guys, especially when you have the experience and the pedigree of Grayton. So you can't just go out there and expect to knock him out or knock him down again. You got to go back to zero and get your ability back.
Couple of hooks as Cruz on the inside.
Let him go, let him go.
And Grayton,
Stop.
he mirrors some of that Philadelphia East Coast slickness as he will tie up Cruz as Cruz gets off a couple of punches, and he'll hold the arms and then let go and then unleashes straight left down the middle.
Those are veteran moves, and you get those veteran moves by sparring and fighting veterans. And in the mean streets of Philadelphia, the gyms out there, you know every trick in the book. So sparring, you can learn a lot of sparring. Grayton staying calm after being dropped, and he was seriously hurt in that last round. But he's doing well. He recovered well right there. He catching Cruz with a solid right hand. I think he might have hurt Cruz. Cruz coming back.
But Cruz answers back with a straight right hand of his own. As we near the end of the fourth between David Grayton and Miguel Cruz, and they both are talking with one another. They'll come back with more. This is PBC on FS1. Hey, Thursday, we've got the Las Vegas Invitational on FS1. It all starts at 5 Eastern as Trevor Bluyett leads number 15 Xavier against George Washington. Then K-State faces Arizona State at 7:30 Eastern. The Las Vegas Invitational Thursday on FS1, or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. What a way there. Watch some college hoops while you're enjoying some turkey. If you're watching here in the States, Thanksgiving right around the corner as David Grayton and Miguel Cruz set you up here. Round number 5. This one is scheduled for 10. Sergio, how do you see the first 4 rounds, how they played out?
I love what I've seen with Grayton coming back after that knockdown. I had Cruz winning a little bit. He was doing really well. I think he was winning the rounds, but after that tough round with Grayton, he showed character coming back. It's a close fight.
Go there.
And now Sam Burgos is sending Miguel Cruz to the neutral corner.
You're good? Got for 5 minutes. You're good? Go over here.
I wonder what the infraction is for. Maybe with leaning in with the head or a shot below the belt.
Time in. Let's go.
And we resume the action here in the 5th between Miguel Cruz and David Grayton. As Cruz, who has, that fight with Sammy Figueroa, what a matchup that was. He said he learned quite a bit from that, picked up a split decision, but also the last time we saw him here on FS1 was on June 27, a victory over Alex Martin. He had a split decision victory over Martin earlier in the year in January. He rematched, and Cruz said it was great for him to finally close that chapter of Alex Martin and put it in the rearview mirror.
Well, they're matching him up tough, as they should do. I mean, he's 16-0 right now. This is about the time that you start matching up your contenders, your future contenders, and possible contenders, because he has Sammy Figueroa, gave him a tough fight. Martin, and now with Grayton, these are some solid guys.
He knew that the road was not going to be easy up to the top. And David Grayton isn't making it easy for him here tonight. A couple of right hands on the abdomen of David Grayton. 65 seconds left in the 5th.
Back caught Grayton's attention right there with a straight right hand to the gut there. Usually they'll surprise you. Cruz needs to watch out for headbutts right there. The last 2 rounds, Grayton has been coming in with his head.
Let's go, let him go.
And he does have a slight cut.
Couple left hooks there by Miguel Cruz as they continue to wrestle and barrel into one another. David Grayton initiating it, but Cruz seems to be willing to oblige in flight at close distance.
The referee warning him about the heads. Cruz has a cut in his right eye. Left eye is swelling up, and I'm pretty sure those are unintentional headbutts.
Yes, and you're seeing that Cruz. Could this be a sign that Burgos is letting them fight a little bit too much on the inside? Should he step in a little bit quicker?
Good body shot there by Cruz, but to your question, I think the referee's going to have a hard time. Like I said earlier, anytime you have a southpaw and an orthodox fighter, you're going to have a hard time. The referee's going to work overtime here because the heads are going to be a problem, stepping on each other, tackling like we've seen earlier. Punches are coming from different angles, and the wrestling's coming from different angles.
Final 10 seconds of this, our 5th round, and a shot after the break, and David Grayton wanting the referee to admonish him. We will come back with the second half of the fight here on FS1. Welcome back to PBC on FS1. As you mentioned, the left eye of Miguel Cruz is swelling. O'Neal Watson, one of the cutmen and the trainer for Miguel Cruz, working on the eyes, and that left eye is really swelling up. There you see a large, what it appears to be potentially a hematoma, a big bruise on the left cheek of Miguel Cruz. Round number 6 We are in the second half of the fight. David Grayton with a 15-1-1 record taking on Miguel Cruz, who's undefeated, 16-0 with 11 knockouts.
And he's showing grit so far, he's showing character. You know, he was able to drop Grayton. Usually when you drop your opponent like that, you get the confidence and you think it's going to be easy from there. So when the guy comes back,
there, and that is a knockdown.
Wow.
That is a knockdown by Miguel Cruz on David Grayton.
Hey, you're good.
And now Grayton, he was unable to avoid that knockdown. Can Cruz go on the offensive and finish off David Grayton? Big right hands by Miguel Cruz. But Grayton putting his head down and throwing shots to the body of Miguel Cruz. He's sitting down on his punches and trying to back up Cruz. Which man is going to be able to gain the center of the ring? They're going toe-to-toe here on Toe-to-Toe Tuesdays.
What a great fight. This is the action I love to see right here because Grayton dropped again, comes back even stronger. That's a guy that really wants to win. That's a testament to his character right there and experience and pedigree as a fighter.
He did not, his confidence didn't waver whatsoever. He did not, his poise wasn't shaken. He maintained his confidence, and he seems to have reasserted himself here in this 6th round.
Not only that, but look at what Cruz is doing. He's not going after him. He's not going after him thinking that he can stop him like earlier. He's showing character as well, going back, staying calm, staying poised and remain, going back behind the jab, being the observer, and waiting to catch him again. I'm really impressed by both these fighters.
And a straight left backs up Miguel Cruz by David Grayton.
Let's go, gentlemen. Let him go. Let him go.
Cruz had over 2 minutes to go on the offensive. He used smart aggression, but Grayton seems to have gathered himself once again. A straight right hand as Grayton comes on, tries to get on the inside. But that jab coming out more frequently for Miguel Cruz, the 27-year-old.
Grayton landed that power jab again, and it's coming from a southpaw position. That's the second power jab in this round that I've seen land. And those land like straight right hands or straight left hands. Those could jolt you and really take it out of you, take your confidence out of you, especially when you think you're winning the round. A hard punch like that can make you think twice.
Since we are in the mood of Thanksgiving, this is like a lot of very good appetizers that get you ready for the main course of the main event. Devin Alexander and Walter Castillo. As we near the conclusion of this 6th round, David Grayton on the canvas for the first time in the fight. And round number 6 winds down and is in the books. And here is a look at the knockdown. Miguel Cruz with the jab that sent down David Grayton. You're watching more of PBC on FS1. Welcome back to PBC on FS1. George Peterson in the corner of David Grayton. For more on the 30-year-old out of Washington, D.C., here's Jordan Hardy.
Thank you so much. I was over in the corner of David Grayton, and you know, he's just kind of over there trying to get recomposed. He's not freaking out. His corner is staying composed, taking deep breaths, and he's focused. His trainer is telling him to stay on the jab and be ready for the counter. So we'll see if he implements that going into round 7. And also the referee did warn him to keep his punches up because he was getting a little low on Cruz. Ray, back to you.
Thank you very much, Jordan. Outstanding. And look at David Grayton come back and showing some of that hand speed that hasn't been so present here in the fight, Sergio.
I'm impressed with both of them because they kept their composure. Both of them have been stunned. Grayton has been dropped twice, but it's still a close fight. It might not be close on the card because of those 2 knockdowns and 10-8 rounds, but it's a close fight. Grayton's in this fight.
Well, the first one I don't think was ruled a knockdown. At least it didn't appear as if Burgos went ahead and said it was like a tackle, so he didn't rule that one a knockdown, if I stand corrected. The 6th, in the previous round, it was ruled a 10-8, but Cruz, it would appear as if he has somewhat of an advantage on the scorecards, but Grayton trying to walk him down, but back comes Cruz to try to regain the center of the ring.
Well, when he tackled him, he was hurt, so I count that a knockdown.
And they are both slugging it out now again, Sergio. Here we go again.
Cruz needs to watch out for his counters because even though he's landing some good punches, Grayton's looking for home runs in between. I would like to see Cruz punch and dip a little bit. Be cautious of the punches that are coming back from a guy like Grayton. Grayton's sneaky. I mean, he has guts. He has things going for him right here.
Well, Grayton is one of those guys where he realized that he had to get on the inside, and he is just going to bite down in his mouthpiece and try to take the will out of Miguel Cruz. Hasn't been able to do it, but he is still coming forward and throwing that straight left and getting in on the inside.
I don't think he's going to be able to take the will from Cruz. I think Miguel Cruz has that in him. I mean, he's just a born fighter, but he's showed that he has a character to withstand punishment in his last couple of fights and face adversity and come back from behind. He's just a determined young fighter. And so is Grayton for that matter.
Miguel Cruz, 3 years the junior of David Grayton, 27 years of age. A right hand that backs up Grayton, looking for some body work is Miguel Cruz.
If you're at home judging this fight, you're wondering who's winning the fight. I think you can see it in their eyes. Grayton still looks focused and hungry, looking for something. He's still hunting. Cruz still has it in his eyes, but it's a little swollen, a little bloody. He's still showing that he wants to fight and keep the lead if he does have it. But the eyes tell a lot in this fight, especially in close rounds.
Final moments of the 7th, Miguel Cruz and David Grayton. And again, an inadvertent headbutt, and that ends the 7th. We'll come back with more PBC on FS1. Miguel Cruz and David Grayton. Back here, PBC on FS1, coming up December 8th. It'll be a big matchup for Ahmed Albiali, the undefeated light heavyweight standout, putting his undefeated record on the line against former world champion Jean Pascal. December 15th, it'll be the return of Jesse Vargas and Aaron Herrera, Diego Chavez, Jamal James out of Minnesota, John Molina Jr., Ivan Redkach, and January 20th, it'll be Errol Spence Jr. and Lamont Peterson, recently announced today. That'll be at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, live on Showtime. Oh my goodness, what a way to get into the holiday season with some outstanding matchups with PBC on FS1, and to begin the new year with Errol Spence against Lamont Peterson on Showtime. Round 8, this one scheduled for 10. Again, they continue to wrestle and fight in close quarters. Sam Burgos will once again break them up. As you see, Grayton looking to focus in on the body, but Cruz will spin him around. And you know what, with Miguel Cruz going back to his Puerto Rican heritage, he said he was very close friends with Pritchard Colon, who sustained a very bad injury back over 2 years ago. And he says that he still talks to the Colon family, very close friends that kind of came up together, did Miguel Cruz and Pritchard Colon. Big right hands backing up David Grayton.
It's a tragedy what happened with Pritchard Colon, and they were good friends. It's just sad when that happens in boxing. You know, you feel for a fellow fighter.
Right now, David Grayton and Miguel Cruz, they continue to go on the offensive.
I got to say something here. They warned Grayton for a headbutt. They've warned him a couple times for a headbutt. We don't know how much of the blemishes, the cuts, the bumps on Cruz's face are really punches or headbutts. Right now, they warned Grayton again on the headbutt. I mean, that's something you're always going to catch with an orthodox and southpaw fighter, but I've seen it a little bit more repetitive right now with Grayton falling in.
Would you like to see Sam Burgos finally, after he's warned him a couple of times, do you think Grayton should be deducted a point?
No, not yet. Not yet. Just another stern warning, but not yet. No, this is a great fight. This is a really hotly contested fight. You don't want to ruin it by taking away points.
Well, it's a battle of wills as we are just over a minute to go in the 8th. A straight left hand that backed up Miguel Cruz, but Cruz comes back as with a sweeping right cross.
Man, Grayton, I'll tell you what, Grayton is smelling blood. He's putting a lot behind those punches now. They're not just flicking anymore. He's not just trying to counter and land solid shots. He's trying to hurt Cruz. I think he might think that he has him hurt or that he might be giving in, but Grayton he's going for home runs now.
Well, Grayton might be smelling blood, Sergio, because there is blood pouring out of the right eye of Miguel Cruz, as there is some blood on the right eye of Miguel Cruz, and Grayton is having one of his best rounds, and they both exchange as Cruz with the left hook, Grayton with a straight left.
If Cruz is getting a little tired or a little arm weary like it looks like he is, it'll be smart for him to do exactly what he's doing right now. He's not really punching that hard, but he's punching effectively. That's going to keep Grayton off like that, and still going to give him points for the judges. Just touch him in there. You don't need to go for home runs.
10 seconds. Grayton pulled back, and he got caught with a big right hand, followed by an uppercut. And back comes David Grayton. The action heating up here between Grayton and Cruz. You're watching PBC on FS1. Look at some of this action. 2 more rounds remaining.
headbutt, headbutt, headbutt.
Welcome back to PBC on FS1. As Sam Burgos, in between the rounds, said that there was an accidental clash of heads which caused the laceration outside the right eye of Miguel Cruz. So now it is Burgos who is going to have the doctor look at the right eye of Miguel Cruz. But they did a very good job of O'Neal Watson, who's one of the trainers and the cut man for Miguel Cruz, and that is above the eyebrow, so it doesn't appear as if it is dripping directly into the eye. So if there's a time and a place to get a cut, it'll be there because it shouldn't impede his vision that much, Sergio.
No, not at all. Those cuts like that you don't even feel them, you don't bother them. Even when the blood's coming down your eye, it's not even really going in your eye, it's going inside of your face. So that cut's okay.
It is more aesthetic than anything else. Final 2 rounds, a straight left that begins and a shot. It looked like behind the head by Grayton, but it was the side of the head.
Well, you said aesthetic. I was about to say something with that because even when it wasn't effective like that, it still looks bad. It's still, the blood's still going all over your face and chest and getting your shorts dirty, your trunks dirty. It's still not a good look, you know, even though you might be winning the round, it's still not a good look. You look like you're the defeated fighter, like a fighter that's going backwards and bloody.
Let him go, Cruz. Let him go, Cruz.
And as a fighter on the opposite side, or when you have blood in your trunks, do you worry that he may sway the judges, Sergio?
Absolutely, because look, judges are human. In a close fight, you're going to look at who looks more beaten up, but the judges are also hopefully taking an effect that a lot of those cuts and bruises are headbutts. So it's going to be a tough fight to score. I know I'm having a hard time scoring this fight, but a good fight it is.
Certainly is. Don't forget to join us on the conversation on social media. Use the hashtag PBC on FS1. Again, use the hashtag PBC on FS1. Follow us at Premier Boxing and also at FS1. As you see, the blood is now pouring more out of Miguel Cruz, but he started there, a straight right hand that connected.
Grayton took that punch well. It was an arm punch, but it was still an effective punch. That's what I want to see from Cruz right there. Solid jabs, control the distance. You don't want Grayton to come in and hit you with more headbutts. Even though they're accidental, I mean, they've been warning him so many times. It's accidental, but he's doing it purposely, kind of. You know, it's in between. He's falling in there on purpose, but he doesn't mean to headbutt him, but he's actually doing it, so it's tough.
And a right hook that found its mark for Miguel Cruz. 60 seconds remaining in the 9th round.
Come on, let's go.
This has been a very tough fight to score, a very physical fight on the inside. A couple of right hands there by Miguel Cruz. From a football standpoint, this is a very hard-hitting affair, as we have seen in the past, Sergio.
You get out of there.
Well, as a linebacker, you're used to taking punishment and being the punisher, so I think they're both linebackers in there because they're both dishing it out and taking it.
Grayton unleashing his straight left hand. Cruz with that lead right hand. 20 seconds remaining in round 9.
Let him go.
And what has been the epitome of a battle here in St. Petersburg, and a big shot that shook up David Grayton as he backs up. The heavy hands of Miguel Cruz taking their toll on David Grayton. A right cross, and that ends the 9th as we approach one more round remaining. You're watching PBC on FS1, Grayton and Cruz. Welcome back to PBC on FS1. Jordan Hardy has more in terms of what is going on in the corner of the 27-year-old undefeated sensation, Miguel Cruz.
Let's go, seconds out.
Ray, thank you so much. I was over in the corner of Cruz, and his cutman, O'Neal Watson, was saying, you know, this is a manageable cut. They're not worried about it at all. They're just kind of reassuring Cruz because, you know, as the fighter, if you're bleeding, you're like, man, what's coming on my face right now? But Don David Jackson was telling him to work on using the jab. Just stick the jab out there, keep your distance, and don't get caught up in these exchanges in the last round. Ray, back to you.
Sergio, what are your thoughts on what we heard out of the corner of Miguel Cruz from Jordan Hardy?
Perfect advice. It's perfect instructions coming from David Jackson, because he knows that you don't want this guy to come in no more. They don't want this fight to be stopped on headbutts or clashes of heads like that. You might be leading on the scorecards. I think I have him barely winning Cruz. So just go back, cruise into the final round, win this fight. Keep it with the jab.
We are in the 10th and final round between Cruz and David Grayton.
Nice and clean side. That's okay. Let's go. Let him box. Let him box. Let's go. Get out of there.
Battling here
Cruz,
once
stop,
again
stop,
at close
stop,
distance.
Stop. Stop holding.
That's smart by Cruz right there. Do a little holding, kill a little bit of time, go back to the jab. You don't want to get into a mix-up anymore. This is the last round. You've already been through the worst of it, and you might be leading on the scorecards, at least on my book.
Oh, no.
Win this decision. Go back behind the jab.
Let's go. Let him go. Let him go, Cruz. Let him go. Box it out, gentlemen.
And Sam Burgos is
get out of
allowing
there.
them to
You guys
fight
get out
out
of
of
there.
this.
Work
Good body
And
shot.
a big body shot right there on the abdomen, but a sweeping left hook that landed for Grayton.
Every time Grayton has been punched by something, he comes right back, and that's what a real fighter does. I mean, this is a really, really close fight. It's going to be
Nice
tough
and
on the
clean,
judges.
Cruz. Let him go. Cruz, let him go.
Grayton
Let him go,
tied
Cruz.
up. Cruz looking to separate himself to gain the distance. Cruz, although he is the taller fighter, he's been fighting at close distance sometimes. I mean,
No, watch
just
the shoulder.
when
Let's
Grayton
go. Nice
closed the
and clean.
distance, he's just going ahead and fighting and not really using his distance, Sergio.
Regardless of the outcome, I want to see both these guys fight again, whether each other or with someone else, because they show grit, experience, toughness.
Get up.
They got their feet tangled up as Cruz hit the canvas,
Let's go. Nice and clean.
and the
Let's go.
blood continues to stream out. It is not pouring in directly into the eye of Miguel Cruz. Under a minute remaining.
Right there, Cruz did the smart thing by countering Grayton's jab with a body shot. That's a smart thing.
Who is going to come out victorious? Will Cruz remain undefeated, or will David Grayton hand another up-and-coming prospect to defeat?
This last round is going to be judged and decided on the jab and character, composure. Who looks like they won the round? Because it's a close round and it's all jabs right here. Who looks like the winner? Even though Cruz is the one bleeding, he's still landing some solid shots. It's a close round, another close round.
Let's go.
Final 10 seconds in what has been a straight-up battle, and Cruz unloading to end the fight, and they fight to the bell, and they continue to fight even after the bell sounds.
That is toe-to-toe Tuesdays right there, and that's how you close a close round. Exactly what Miguel Cruz did right there. That's how you win these close rounds.
And we will come back and get the decision. What a battle here on Toe-to-Toe Tuesdays. Miguel Cruz and David Grayton will get the decision coming up right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we go to the scorecards. Here are your score totals. Judge there ringside, Jed O'Connor, Alexander Levin, and Michael Ross have the contest identical, 96-93 for your winner by unanimous decision. And still undefeated, Miguel Cruz. So Miguel Cruz remains undefeated as he elevates his record to 17-0, and that's a big win for the 27-year-old.